I'm really interested in questions or comments that you guys have about what you saw. You viewed the interview, and you heard what he had to say and what I had to say. And I want to break down the interview for you first in my mind. And as I've said, my goal is to talk to Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Robert Kennedy Jr., because I want everybody that watches Merit Street to hear what they have to say with the kind of questions that I have to ask. And with former President Trump last night, my goal, I've known him for a long time, not super well, but we've known each other for a long time. And I've been watching him. I knew that when he sat down, he's got certain things he's going to get said. And that's just the investment you have to make in the interview, because it's kind of like talking to a waiter and they've got the specials. They're going to give you those specials. And it doesn't matter what you want, they're going to give you those specials. And if you interrupt them on number 12 out of 15, they're going to start back at the top. So he's got things that he just feels like he needs to message. And he's going to go through those things. And I got some questions in there, even so, but that's going to have to happen. And then we started talking about what was going on. And the first time that I really thought we got into a meaningful conversation is I said, look, you do have good numbers, and numbers are what they are. There were good numbers out of the Trump administration. And my question to him, which started the second phase, was, with those good numbers, if everything is good as you're saying, hell, you should be running unopposed. Who would not want all of that if you have these numbers here, these numbers here, these numbers here? So are you getting out-messaged? Is the other side out messaging y'all? Are they out messaging you, or are they out messaging the Republicans? And he said, well, yes, no, maybe. I think it's just a pattern of the other side doesn't want to vote for anybody but the other side. We're that divided. What did you guys think about the fact that despite really good numbers, that we are that divided? Are Democrats out messaging Republicans? Are Republicans not sending the right message? And listen, I'm apolitical. I look at issues, not individuals. So I'm just curious what you guys think. From that part of the interview, what did you take away? Do they have good numbers? Are they playing games? What did you think about those messages? Just raise your hand and we'll bring you a microphone. I'm right here. In fact, why don't you stand up so I can find you a little easier, and just say your name and comment or question.
My name's Duff, and Dr. Phil, I wonder, in the polling, who are we polling? We've got half this nation that's probably paying no attention whatsoever to the trials and tribulations that are going on for this high office in the country. Mm-hmm. And I also wonder if, in fact, Mr. Trump doesn't win. You did good with him in the interview about this, and that's bringing him to a higher plateau. What about the other side? And then there again, half this country doesn't know the meaning of political weaponizing. Mm-hmm. We have a serious issue. How can we solve that?
So you think half of the country's not paying attention to what's going on in terms of the business of running the country?
Yes, I do.
How many of you agree with that? Really, you think that many people don't pay attention? Now, we have done man on the street interviews and asked a lot of people, when was the War of 1812? And they have no idea. I'm serious. They have no idea who was in the Spanish-American War. You ask them questions and they're like, they have no idea. And I don't know what they're paying attention to, because they are awake and they're vertical and they're walking up and down the street, but they don't, if they're not paying attention to obvious sort of things, obvious issues, what are they paying attention to? People that aren't tuned in, aren't dialed in, What are they paying attention to? Do you have a view on that? Hang on, we got to bring you a microphone. You got to stand up. Stand up and speak up.
Vanity. I think they're paying attention to like buzzwords and things that they can latch onto that are more closely associated to them. Like when they hear immigrations or people coming into the country or taxes. Like that's why he kept like focusing on those buzzwords. I think that the normal person is only focused on those buzzwords. So I would agree that not that many people know what's going on because they're only concerned with the things that are closest to them.
Do we need to wake the rest of the people up?
Absolutely.
Is that, because I feel that way. I think we need to wake the rest of the people up. Yes, sir, right here.
I think what you got.
Say your name.
Oh, Bill Camp.
Okay, Bill. Just your first name.
Longtime trial lawyer. You've been in trial services forever. You know, people just have a shorter focus span. And when you get into the different demographics, you've got, younger people, Gen Zs, that are only looking at their phone. They're only looking at that TikTok, or they're only looking at, whatever their recent podcast is. And I think a lot of people, you're seeing it, aren't following the legend news. They're following some individual podcast that's only their point of view. I think that's a problem.
Well, the statistics are very disturbing about the high percentage of young people who get 100% of their news from TikTok. Right. Yep. And it's not being fact-checked. I'll tell you what, we put up promos on the social media platforms about the interview for people to watch, and we submitted a promo to TikTok. And they said, well, we need to review this to see if it's consistent with community standards. It was just the promo here. I mean, it wasn't saying let's go stomp baby kittens to death or anything. And usually, now I don't do a lot of this myself that gets put up, but usually the review is like 10 seconds because they run it through like an algorithm or something and make sure it doesn't have something in it that shouldn't be there. And an hour later, which is usually like 2 seconds or 10 seconds, an hour later, the message came back rejected. They would not put it up. And which is really disturbing to me because it was just a news promo. It was just a news promo. And it's not like I'm a known conspiracy wacko or something. And I've got 7 or 8 million followers there, so it's not like I'm an unknown person to them. But they wouldn't put it up because it had Trump in it. They didn't even know if it was pro or con. It had Trump in it, they wouldn't put it up. That's concerning to me. But we put it on there because we wanted to get young people, hey, watch this and find out who this really is. Maybe you'll hate them. And so at least you'll know it'll be based on fact. So, but yes, ma'am, stand up, we'll get you a microphone. Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm Karen. I was just thinking about when they ran the first time together or the second time and President Biden won. I have a lot of Republican friends and a lot of Democratic friends. I'm kind of neutral, but they talked about good versus evil. And I thought, well, we're not really in a Disney movie, so I don't understand. You may not like him, I get that, but now, 4 years later, the same people I know that have said these things say, I'm really upset with my 401k, I'm upset when I go to the grocery store, and they're all voting for Trump now. So and on the TikTok thing, I do get on TikTok, and most of the people I have followed off and on, their TikToks have been taken down if they have anything about Trump. And I just think this is bias, and so that doesn't help his case at all. They just see one side.
Yeah, does that bother you, that they're taking stuff down because it has that in there? What do you want to say?
My only thing is it doesn't allow us to see the genuine him. So watching your interview today, I think it actually gave me an interpretation that I've never had of him before. And us not seeing him more it actually kind of hurts hurts people on judging him. I guess if that's what the media wants to do, then they're doing a very good job at it.
Yeah, you bet.